Evil Dead Rise. I've been super hyped for this movie for about, 2 years since it was announced? I was super hyped. I know every line of dialogue by heart on all three, and even the remake, all the Evil Dead movies. I know every word, line by line, by heart, since I was 11 years old. So, went and seen the remake in the theater, midnight premiere, packed theater, became arguably my favorite in the franchise. That and the original part one, pretty much even for me. So obviously that should go to say is that I come to a horror movie for the horror. I don't come to a horror movie for the family drama. No, mommy, no. They could have done so much more with the plot, which, I was equally on board with the announcement that we're taking it out of the cabin. We're going into the city. It's going to be a whole new everything. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. But originally, during the pandemic, I guess, maybe a year or two ago, this movie was originally supposed to be for streaming only, which obviously is a really bad sign. That obviously means that it's not shaping up to be too awesome. But you never know, because the new Predator movie came out on streaming. Awesome. The new Chainsaw Massacre came out on streaming. I was pretty pleased with that myself. And Hellraiser. All these movies that have gone straight to streaming were all way better than Evil Dead Rise. And what's funny is that I see a lot. I've watched probably over 10 reviews since I've seen it, and even before. Especially, I don't really care too much about spoilers or whatever. I want to know how other people enjoyed it, and I respect certain people's opinions, and I'm going to make my own opinion either way. But I like reviews. I like watching YouTube videos, people talking about movies. You probably do too. Here we are. So the first 10 minutes or whatever, I saw the first 10 minutes, and like everybody says, the title card and everything, I was like, oh, hell yeah, dog. Let's get it. And then the rest of the movie, I was literally just sighing and just shifting in my seat, like not enjoying myself pretty much at all. And I was thinking about the guy who was at the South by Southwest screening, who during the Q&A freaked out and screamed everybody, "This movie sucks!" And they all booed him out.
This movie fucking sucks.
What?
I'm with that guy. So, to me, what makes an Evil Dead movie work is the book, the evil unleashed, and the Deadites just raising hell in the most crazy, salty, out of this world ways possible. That's all I need to enjoy a great Evil Dead movie. That's why the remake was so damn good. I own that on Blu-ray. I watch it, regularly. It's legit. Everybody keeps saying that the sound design was awesome. But that was one of my biggest things I didn't like about it. I felt like the sound effects were way off, and the tone and the vibe of everything that was being heard didn't feel like it matched up. But it did on the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of this movie, absolutely perfect. I would have paid my $10 from the movie theater and not seen anything in the apartment building at all. Would have been a better experience for me. Not that it has to be at a cabin in the woods, but this is Evil Dead. Like, How much do you have to break the mold to put your own spin and do something different? So that's actually my biggest problem with it too, honestly, is that it's trying to reinvent the wheel with what Evil Dead actually is. And to me, this feels like, and this I feel like goes opposite of what so many people on YouTube that I've been seeing say, is that I feel like this wasn't actually even an Evil Dead movie at all. They had that first 10-minute part as like a, hey, we should probably try to make this an Evil Dead movie though, for real. Oh, okay, let's film that part. Other than that, I feel like this was just a movie about motherhood and female empowerment and the power of beauty of being a mom, with the demon possession angle. And they just had to shove the Necronomicon into it. They had to shove the POV demon into it. They had to shove the Deadites all saying, "Dead by dawn, dead by dawn," in there for no reason. Dead by dawn! Dead by dawn! Dead by dawn! But they just went with catchphrases. That's the most like homage to the original, is they just like forced the characters to say certain catchphrases. Oh, he said the thing. Oh, he said the thing. It's cool now. Yeah, right. It's Evil Dead. Yeah. But for me, it wasn't. And people keep saying online, the soundtrack. Oh, the soundtrack was awesome. Well, I must be watched such a different movie, because to me, again, in the first 10 minutes, they brought like that crazy big over the top crescendo from the remake into it, and I was like, here we go. And then all throughout the movie, there is no score, there is no soundtrack, there's no soundtrack at all. It's just but for me, pretty sure Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, especially Army of Darkness, and I know for sure, especially the remake, actually have like a score, original music composed just for the film, reoccurring themes like Ash's feeling in love theme, Ash's going crazy theme, people are dying theme, the evil's creeping around the corner theme. All of that all has very specific like melodies and like notes and cues throughout the movie. And this didn't have any of that. It was just purely like terror sounds, which I didn't do anything with. So I feel like my brother was telling me there, he was reading somebody's review. Shout out if this is your review and you see this video. The reviews was titled Shudder presents an original presentation of Evil Dead Rise, or whatever it was, some kind of like lame like Sci-Fi Channel original movie like that. Like, I felt like this wasn't supposed to be an Evil Dead movie. They just made it be an Evil Dead movie. And Lee Cronin, pretty much all the stuff that he did that I liked was him just mimicking Sam Raimi. Everything else, is also the writer, obviously, felt like a lot like his other movie, Body in the Ground, or Hole in the Ground, which is also like a feminist motherhood adventure about how hard it is to be a single mom. That's what that movie's about. That's what this movie's about. Then it's about this rock chick who's like, oh no, I'm knocked up. I better go inconvenience my sister and all her kids who I haven't been keeping up with in months. And on top of that, everything about all the characters, they only give you like one little tiny piece of a nugget for you to understand who they are. And then we just say, okay, that's who they are. The transgender son is a DJ. Oh, okay. The feminist lesbian daughter is this like badass leader feminist protester chick. The little girl is just a sweet little girl. She's probably the best actor out of everybody. But then all these things that are supposed to build up these characters and who they are, it's really surface level shallow. And then even the main character, the sister, I don't feel like she earns being a badass by the end of this movie. And honestly, if you're going to go like evil within the game with like how much you're going to just completely make up your own crap about how the Deadites work and how the book works and everything about the book, just making up all brand new crazy stuff, I feel like there should have been way more build up to that. Because, for example, and I am going to compare it because this is supposed to be the new entry in my most beloved franchise, which it is. In the remake, they're constantly alluding to the Abomination. Like, it's, by the time we get to it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about. But by this one, the final boss is like one picture that we see for 1 second in the book as he's just flipping through them. And I don't know how taking 3 young, nimble, badass, crazy, psychotic Deadites and transferring them into one blob is somehow more effective to take over the world? I mean, what are the Deadites trying to do? They're trying to kill everybody, right? They want to kill everybody. And so that didn't make sense to me. Also, that when the elevator crashes, they're totally fine. And nobody else in the whole entire 14-story apartment building, nobody else heard shotguns going off. Nobody else heard screaming and bloody murder and like destruction going on throughout this whole movie. Like, okay, cool, the elevator's broke, sure. The stairs are all messed up, okay, cool. But wouldn't even, like, okay, so if they're all locked in the apartment and the Deadite can't get in, and their goal is just to take life, period, and cause mayhem, then don't we have 13 other floors to get to? Isn't this Evil Dead Rise? What's the difference between it being in an apartment and being in a cabin if they're going to be super isolated and they only have like 2 or 3 neighbors? Which, by the way, the 2 or 3 neighbors are the only male characters that they all just like, you suck, loser, and all get killed off instantly and are just completely written off as like ineffective, stupid, inefficient, incompetent losers that can do nothing and don't do anything to help the movie or help the ladies. Every male in this movie is a complete just cannon fodder. And then the male in the movie, the son, is like the weakest, wimpiest, cringiest, whiniest character in any Evil Dead movie ever, all combined. You think that if you live in downtown LA, you've probably seen worse shit than what's going on in this movie, honestly. Which also doesn't make sense why she would send their kids out to buy pizza alone in the middle of the night during a storm in downtown LA. She doesn't seem like a very good mom, honestly. But the mom didn't do anything for me. I feel like if she was supposed to be like this new like Cheryl character, right? Like the protagonist Deadite, I guess antagonist. It was all just like, okay, every good part of this movie was in the trailer. That's easy to say. It just did nothing for me. Like, I was really, really hyped for this movie, and it did absolutely nothing for me. I'm the biggest Evil Dead fan I know, and it did absolutely nothing for me. And pretty much hated it. And I don't know why I'm pretty much the only person on YouTube saying that. There's a couple that have been more honest, but I just don't really have anything good to say about it. And it sucks that I have to start my movie review channel by having a negative review about a movie that I was really hoping to like. But I don't know what movie I saw, but it doesn't seem to be the same movie that everybody else is reviewing. So, if you're just a casual horror fan, fine. You like stuff like Ouija and Unfriended and, Megan, which unrated one was actually pretty cool. But if you're just into it for like the glossy, polished, PG-13 style horror, Conjuring movies, stuff like that, you're like, ooh, a scary movie, let's go check it out. Yeah. Alright, yeah, you'll probably get your money's worth. And it seems like a lot of other people did too, but I didn't. So it's my first video. I don't know what kind of rating system that I'll have to come up with here, but just out of 5 stars, I'm going to give it 1. But I still am really happy that it came out. I'm really happy that it is getting good reviews. I'm really happy that it is making money, because then now I hope that they can come out with another one that's better. So this is me, you're you. Do all that stuff that YouTube tells you to do, and or don't. And I don't know, just keep watching movies, yeah.